qualification, but just for my own purification, I will read a brief introduction about Prabhuji, after which Prabhuji will take over the call. His Grace Nityanand Prabhu, born in the idyllic Fiji Islands, graduated as attorney and financial accountant 47 years ago at Auckland University, New Zealand. Served as advisor in the government of Fiji, participated in the leadership of various civic organizations such as the Fiji Manufacturers Council, Chamber of Commerce, and Industry and Consumer Council. Married with 2 sons who are also married, 5 grandchildren, served as spiritual guide since 1983, moved to Dallas, Texas in 1993. Teaches, trains, and coaches talented persons, professionals, business owners, corporate executives, and institutional leaders in the leadership, spirituality, consciousness development, life strategies, and wellness. Coaches, trainers who train teachers in the fields of wellness, life strategies, and business. With this, I would like to welcome His Grace Nityanand Prabhu on Partsarthi platform for our weekly Bhagavad Gita. We are very, very fortunate today to hear from him. He will be giving us a brief description about shlokas 5.13 to 5.16. With this, I hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Welcome once again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much. Are you able to hear me? Because sometimes my mic does play up.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rup Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Savijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Turubhescha Kripasindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschati Deshtarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'm actually very honored to be speaking amongst you all. Today we're going to be speaking from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 5, which is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Today we're doing texts 13 through 16. And so typically what I do is I first read the verses, and then from the verses, I will then go on to a summary like that. So before I start the verses, let's please put our hands together and chant together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. So reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, starting with text number 13. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi neva kurvanna karyan Translation: when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Next verse. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala sangyoga svabhavastu pravartate. Translation: the embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Text number 15. Nadatte kaschit papam nacheva sukritam vibhu agyanena vitam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Translation: nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. Finally, text 16. Jnanena tutat ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha tesham adityavaj jnanam prakashayati tatparam. Translation: when, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuranitam Yena Tasmei Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Tinali. So first I'm going to give a very short summary of those 4 verses. So here Krishna explains knowledge. Spirit soul does not perform the activities, but only the 3 modes do all the performance. Those who are ignorant are bewildered. But when one is enlightened with spiritual knowledge that he is a spirit soul and whose intelligence, mind, faith, everything is fixed on the Lord, that person gets liberated. A person in spiritual knowledge has an equipoised vision. He does not discriminate based on body. Such a person who is inwardly yogi will be happy in this world and also attains liberation. So in reality here, in essence, what is being said is Krishna is explaining that there are 3 doers in any activity. The first is the individual soul. The second is the super soul. And third is material nature. Now, this is very interesting because Krishna is at this stage trying to convince Arjuna to actually fight on the battlefield of Kurukshetra so that dharma can be reestablished. So the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are referring to karma yoga, how one should act, how one should behave. Then the last 6 chapters deal with Jnana Yoga, which means how should one think? What should be one's attitude? And the middle 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, from chapters 7 through 12, are the most important chapters of the Bhagavad Gita because they describe Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means the essence of life. The whole of Bhagavad Gita can be summarized in one sentence. And that sentence is that the purpose of human life is to engage in the devotional service of Sri Krishna, joyfully, tolerating all kinds of impediments. So this is like a one sentence, whole Bhagavad Gita in one sentence. So chapter 5 is very important because in chapter 5, in the final verse, Krishna is going to assure us, the living entities, that he has got our backs covered. He's fully going to take care of us. In every way, we will be very happy and we will go back home, back to Godhead. And he gives the formula how to do that in the final verse, which is verse number 29 of Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram Jagatapasa Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam sarvabhutana gyatva mam shantim vrichati. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains our relationship with him in 4 ways. This is the first way he describes. He describes that he loves us completely. He is our best friend, our best well-wisher. He is the one who will do everything possible so that we will be happy and go back home, back to Godhead, which is where one can be completely happy. Here one cannot be completely happy. This is a world of dukhalaya and asashrutam, which means it is a place of misery and it is a place of instability, temporariness. Asashvat, things are asashvat. So Krishna is giving us assurance. Don't worry, I'm here for you. Just like parents assure their children, we are here for you. When they're born, the child does not have to go and find a job or run a business to look after themselves. The mother feeds the child, the father takes care of the family, the child is completely taken care of until the child becomes adult. And then the child is given the opportunity to also take responsibility. But in the very young stages, the very early phases of human life, the child is completely dependent on the parents. If the child decides, sorry, my dear father and my dear mother, I don't think you are very nice parents. I know I'm only 6 months old, but I think I'm going to now go outside and find my own job and earn my own money. I'm going to do my own education and I'm going to take care of my life and I'll take care of you as well. Now, that is not possible. The child is not going to be able to do that because the child is not equipped. Similarly, we're being told in these 4 verses the same thing. We are not equipped. And how is it explained? I'm going to go now verse by verse. So in verse number 13, Krishna says, and Srila Prabhupada explains, as we know, the purports of Srila Prabhupada's books are all his devotional ecstasies, his greatest happiness of Krishna consciousness expressed to explain what is Krishna saying. So in verse number 13, Srila Prabhupada says, the living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body. But when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while inside the body. This is from the Svateshvara Upanishad, chapter 3, text 18. Therefore, a Krishna-conscious person is free from both outer and inner activities of the material body. Very, very amazing purport. In the next verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, as long as the living entity is in the city of the body, he appears to be master of it, but actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil. Now, in the next verse, verse 15, I want to start with another verse, which is also verse 15 from chapter 15. Sarvasya chaham riddhi sannivishto mattaha smiktir jnanam apohanam cha vedeshya sarve aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. Now, here is the key that will explain, that will open the chest of knowledge in these 4 verses. Imagine these 4 verses is like a treasure chest, and inside of them are sitting the most valuable gems. And we want to access the gems so that we will become happy. So this is the key that opens these 4 verses. What is the key? Krishna is saying, I am seated in everyone's heart. And from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So here, just like we said, there were 3 persons who were going to carry out the actions: the individual soul, the super soul, and the 3 modes of nature. The 3 ladies who are the 3 modes of nature. So here Krishna is saying 3 also. From him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So the first thing we have to do is to make a choice. Do I want to remember Krishna and always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna? Or do I want to forget Krishna and just do things forgetful of Krishna? Or do I want to sit in the middle, sit on the fence and decide, should I do this or should I do that? What choice are we making? Because once we make that choice, then the game starts. And the game will do one of 3 things. It will either take us back to Godhead, or it will send us to hell, or it will bring us to this world of confusion, of 3 things: doubts, confusion, and fear. Krishna actually makes it very clear that for the doubting soul, there is neither happiness in this world nor the next. So these are the choices that we make. Now, based on the choices, Krishna is now, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, he's saying, therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, what does that mean? This is the Apohanam crowd. This is the people who want to forget Krishna. So since time immemorial, we have had this desire to avoid Krishna consciousness. In that case, this causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nascence. What does nascence mean? Nascence means misery. Dukhale asashvatam. That is the meaning of nascence. So Prabhupada continues, he says, man proposes and God disposes. This is the point. Do we want smriti? Do we want jnanam? Or do we want apohanam? Apohanam is the root Sanskrit word for the English word opposition. The English word opposition comes from the Sanskrit word aposanam. And here it's pronounced apohanam, like that. Sometimes also as aposanam. So Prabhupada continues, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy. But here we see the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. And consequently, what happens? He forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience, which is suffering the vagaries of material existence. Then, in the final verse, number 16 for today, the final verse for today, the verse itself says, when, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime, and now we can see clearly. What is that knowledge? That knowledge is Athato Brahma Jignasa. In the Vedanta Sutra, Canto 1, Text 1, Chapter 1, this aphorism comes, the sutra is there, Athato Brahma Jignasa. What does that mean? Now that we have human form of life, it is our most important, compelling purpose to come to know what is the supreme absolute truth. To know what is the supreme absolute truth. Brahma Jignasa. And that is represented by 2 verses that are very important in Hare Krishna. The first verse is quoted in the Brihad Naradi Puran, chapter 38, text 126. And Srila Prabhupada quotes it a number of times. One famous time he quotes that is as a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 17, text 21. The verse is Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam. Kalo nast eva katir anyatha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance, the only means of getting out of nescience, the only means of moving away from ignorance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. 3 times it is being said. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, we are not very intelligent. Manda sumanda mateo. We are unintelligent. Even though we hear the truth, we do not recognize it. Even after we recognize it, we don't actually do it. We don't turn that jnana into vijnana. We don't practice properly. We don't chant properly. And then there is another verse, which is equally important and very important. This comes from the Krishna Yajurveda, Kali Shantrana Upanishad, where Krishna says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, iti shodashakanam nam, Kali Kalmashu nato paratarapaya, sarvavedeshu drishyate. So what does that mean? Iti shodashakanam nam means the 16 names. Iti means this, so means 6, and dasha means 10. Nam, because there are a number of names there. Hare, Krishna, Ram. 3 names are there. Iti shodasha nam, which is the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What do these names do? They Kali Kalmashu Nashanam. They destroy all the inauspiciousness, all the ignorance, all the nations of the age of Kali. Nata uparatarapaya. What does that mean? There is no higher way, process, or principle. Sarvavedeshu drishyate. This is the conclusion of all the Vedas. So we can see in these 4 verses, Krishna is very nicely explaining to Arjuna what is the essence of life. What is the essence of life? The essence of life is there are 3 realities. Krishna, the living entity, and the holy name. The holy name is the connection between the living entity and Krishna. So these are the 3 realities of life. So Krishna gives shelter to the living entity. And the living entity serves Krishna. Because when you serve Krishna, then all compelling purposes, all benefits, all emotion that one wants to actually experience will be achieved if we serve Krishna. So I call it the KISS formula, because K stands for Krishna, I stands for each of us. Then shelter, the first S, Krishna is giving shelter to the living entity. And the next S is service, where the living entity is serving Krishna. So KISS is called the KISS formula. So if you understand this KISS formula, then these 4 verses are understood properly. That is the essence of Karma Yoga. This is what it means, action in Krishna consciousness. That we always understand that Krishna is our ever well-wisher, and we have no capacity. If you look at that verse, when we were reading it earlier, it is said here that the living entity does not create activities. Now, we think we are creating activities. We think, oh, I'm doing something, so business is happening and I'm making money. Or I'm going to work and I'm earning money and therefore I'm doing this. Or I'm waking up in the morning, I'm brushing my teeth, therefore my teeth are clean. So we're always thinking that we are creating activities. We are the ones who are doing activities. But here it says, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act. And yet we're thinking, but I can tell people to do things. I'm the temple president. If I tell somebody to do it, they have to do it. So therefore I'm inducing people to act. But here, the verse is saying not true. Nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Why? Because we chose to forget Krishna. If we choose to remember Krishna, on the other hand, then Krishna says, Maya dakshina prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetuna nena konteya jagat viparivartate. Oh, son of Kunti, try to understand. Everything in this world is happening under my minute superintendence. Not a blade of grass moves without Krishna's will. So how does it happen? If we choose to be with Krishna in Krishna consciousness, and what does Krishna consciousness mean? Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means that one always lives with Krishna on that spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, and that one is simply waiting to give up this material body. That is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. It means we're always thinking of Krishna and we never forget Krishna. How do we think of Krishna? We think of Krishna by being in the association of devotees, sadhu sangha. We think of Krishna by reading the books of Krishna consciousness. And then distributing them also. We remember Krishna by chanting his holy names, doing kirtan, sankirtan. We remember Krishna by taking prasadam, by worshipping the deity, dancing in front of the deity, being disciplined in our lives as disciples, and having devotion in our life. And we are Krishna consciousness. We are in Krishna consciousness because we encourage others to do the same. Preaching is life. We must preach this science. So when we are doing this, this is called Krishna. If we choose to do this, then Krishna takes charge. Then Krishna says, don't worry, I will take care. Kaunteya tu pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashati. You will not fail. Even though it looks like you failed, you have not failed because you turned to me and you embraced me and you said, I am yours, Krishna, and you are mine. Srila Prabhupada said, whenever you go to the temple and you see the deities, you should say to Krishna, I am yours and you are mine. Then Krishna will hold us and he will never let go. And that is our greatest success. Because failure or success in this world has nothing to do with failure or success in the spiritual world. Because that which is temporary is not real. That which is eternal is real. So we are into the real truth now, no longer into temporary truth. We are into real truth now. So if we choose to do that, that means we're into smriti, as Krishna says. Sarvasya cham riddhi sannivishto. I am seated in everyone's heart, Krishna says, and from me comes remembrance. So Krishna allows us to have that remembrance. That is our greatest treasure chest. We're all looking for treasures in this world. See? We're looking for wealth. We're looking for power. We're looking for knowledge. We're looking for beauty. We are looking for fame. And not so often, but sometimes we're looking for renunciation. So these are the 6 opulences of this world. This is the great, and there are many, many gems in this area. So we're looking for these gems in the treasure chest. But the greatest treasure chest is Krishna himself. Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. He's Param Satya, Parabrahman, the supreme personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna means that he is Purushottam, Parameshvara, Krishna. That's Krishna. So this is what we should be aiming for. And when we do that, then, as it is said in the Bhagavatam, that the purpose of life is actually to engage in Krishna's service without any cessation. Ahoituki apratiyata. Right? And then what will happen is yayatma suprasiditi. Such a soul will achieve suprasiditi. This is the essence of life. Suprasiditi is the essence of life. What does prasiddha mean? Prasiddha means satisfaction. When one is satisfied, then one is said to be prasiddha. Suprasiddha means completely satisfied. So the living entity is looking for complete satisfaction. And until we have complete satisfaction, we will keep striving because we have not found complete satisfaction. So we'll keep looking for more and more and more. And we will not stop until there is complete satisfaction, even if it takes billions and billions and quadrillions and gazillions or whatever number we're going to call it, Googleplex number of lives. Until you reach complete satisfaction. And how do you reach complete satisfaction? By engaging in the devotion of adhoksha. See? Then, Savai Pungsam Parodharmo Yathor Bhaktir Adhoksha. Ahoituki apratiyata yayatma suprasiditi. This is the essence of everything. This is when the sages came to Naimisharanya which was the place where all of the most important, the best spiritual leaders of the world came to one place before Kali Yuga started. That was Naimisharanya. And then they asked Sutta Goswami, who was the leader, 6 questions. And in those questions, when he answered the question, the first answer he gave contained the answer to all. And that was Savai Pungsang Parodharmo. Now that you have human form of life, one must engage in the loving service of Adhoksha. Adhoksha means one who's beyond the senses. One who cannot be understood by the senses, by the mind, by the intelligence, by the false ego, cannot understand. Who can understand? The soul can understand. The real ego can understand by the blessings of Krishna, by the mercy of Krishna. Then what will happen is we will engage in the service of Krishna, ahoituki apratihata. Ahoituki means without any motive, without any personal agenda. Apratihata means, and we will never stop, 24/7. We will always serve Krishna. In that case, we will find supasiddhiti. Ye atma supasiddhiti. Alternative is continue the same thing we've been doing up till now, which is, since time immemorial, we have actually chosen to forget the Lord. And then we're in nations. Then the 3 modes takes over, and now we're under the control of the 3 modes. And then the 3 modes will do everything. The 3 modes are the ones that let you give all the results. And then we'll be in a big mess. We may think for a little while, I'm fine, but we're never fine. We're never fine. We are sleeping on the lap of the witch Maya. And Maya's purpose is that she wants to actually give us nice kicks. Krishna bhulliya jiv bhogavancha kare. Maya tare pache jhabadiya dhare. Forgetting Krishna, we do bhogavancha. Means we try to enjoy it. And Maya comes from the back, giving us kicks from the back. Jhabadiya dhare. Like that. So we want to stay away from that scene. And the middle one is the worst. You can't decide this side or that side. Prabhupada said, the materialist can be happy and the devotee can be happy. But the dhobika kutta in the middle, the washerman's dog, the proverbial washerman's dog in the middle, he cannot be happy. So either be full materialist or be full devotee. Don't hang around in the middle. There is nothing in the middle. And if you become full materialist, you will think you are happy, just like when one goes to the mental asylum. The people in mental asylum are happy. They're smiling, they're saluting each other and saying, I'm the president of the United States of America, this, that, and the other. And everybody says, hail to the chief. They look like they're happy, but they're not happy. The devotee is truly happy. Why? Because the truly devotee knows that Krishna is everything. Krishna is Sarvamiti. He is everything. He is our mother, father, friend. He is everything. Every happiness is actually Krishna himself. So these 4 verses is bringing Arjuna to this point. So then Arjuna can understand and we can understand. Arjuna is already very intelligent, extremely intelligent, yet he was bewildered. We are not intelligent. Arjuna's intelligence is so powerful that if you take the whole intelligence of this world and put it together, it cannot match Arjuna's intelligence. Arjuna was so great that one day, when his mother came to wake him up in the morning, she started crying. And so then, after that, Krishna came. And Krishna saw Mother Kunti crying and said, why are you crying, Mother Kunti? And she says, I cannot believe this. She says, what can't you believe? He said, listen. And Krishna started listening. And Krishna saw that from Arjuna's body was emanating the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's just coming from his body, the holy name. How Krishna conscious this person is, that when he is sleeping, his body is chanting Hare Krishna. There's a very similar story for Srila Prabhupada. And we should always know that Prabhupada can be fully trusted as an amazing ambassador or amazing representative of Krishna. So one day there was a Pandal program going on in Mumbai. In this Pandal program, many thousands of people are there watching the program from the arena, from the Maidana. So after the program was over, Prabhupada was speaking to his disciples about bookkeeping, how to keep the books, make sure that every paisa is being counted and accounted for, this, that, and the other. So an older gentleman wanted to meet with Prabhupada. So he came there and he saw Prabhupada speaking about bookkeeping and finances like that. So he interjected. He said, Swamiji, why are you talking about these mundane topics? You should only talk about spiritual topics. Why are you talking mundane topics? So Prabhupada said, don't worry, you come sit at my back and then put your ear to my back and then you will understand. So the old man went to the back of Prabhupada and put his ear to Prabhupada's back. Then after a while, he suddenly got up with a lot of energy, came in front of Prabhupada, paid full obeisances to Prabhupada and ran away. So the disciples thought, what's happening? What happened to this person? So after Prabhupada spoke a little more about whatever the topic was, some of the disciples went to look for this man, found him, and said, what happened? He said, when I went to the back and I put my ear to Srila Prabhupada's back, although Prabhupada was speaking to you all about bookkeeping and money and everything, all I could hear was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He said, that's all I could hear. I realized this person is not ordinary person. So I paid my full obeisance and I left. I was so shocked. This is Krishna consciousness. Are we always chanting the holy names of the Lord? Even though we are doing things outside, are we thinking inside that there is Krishna and only Krishna? And Krishna is in the spiritual world, and Krishna is doing this, and Krishna is doing that. And we're doing our work outside while we're doing that. Just like we see sometimes at work, we see that somebody has a desk, and on the desk they have a picture. Who do they have a picture of? Either a picture of the husband, or the wife, or the dog, or the baby, or somebody they love. There'll be a picture. So they're looking at that picture and they're working very hard because they want to make sure that my wife is happy, my husband is happy, my child is happy, my dog is happy, whoever they have as the picture out there, right? Or maybe more than one picture. So that does not distract them from work. That loving relationship does not distract. In fact, it empowers them. So similarly, our love for Krishna empowers us. It does not distract us from what we are doing. It in fact helps us. So this is why these 4 verses are very important in understanding who is actually acting. If we are remembering Krishna, then Krishna is actually taking care. If we are forgetting Krishna, then the modes are doing, not us. We may take credit. Oh, I did this. I collected so much money. I made so many devotees. Oh, I distributed so many books, or whatever else that we want to take credit for. But we get none of that credit because the credit goes to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you do your duty and leave the results to me. Like that. So, and on the other hand, if we think, no, I am the controller, I am the one who is the doer, then great, the modes will do and confuse us and make us bewildered. Then we'll fight. Then we'll feel unhappy from time to time. Then the difficulties of material life will become very prominent in our life. And then the worst choice is jnana. To sit in the middle and get more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge and more confusion and more confusion and more doubts and more fear. This is a big mistake. Prabhupada said it's better to be an atheist than to be a Mayavadi. You see. In fact, he even says in one of the verses, Bhagavad Gita, I think it is in chapter 12, it is okay for a man to think that he is God. Prabhupada says, it is okay for him to think he is God, until he meets the devotee of God. Because the devotee of God will tell you, why you want to be God? You have to be responsible for everything now, right? You carry such a big load on your shoulders if you have to be responsible for everything. Now you don't have to be responsible. God is responsible. You just enjoy service. Just like in India, there is a very rich man. His name is Mukesh Ambani. So he has a house that is 25 stories and a helipad on the top, so they can go by helicopter anywhere he wants to go, you see. He doesn't worry about Mumbai traffic, you see. Very rich man. So in his house, I think he has about 500 workers, you know. What do you call them? Servants. 500 servants. Okay. And then he has a very big, like a 50 or 60-inch screen TV in one of those, you know, big rooms, right? He hardly gets to watch that TV. These 500 servants, they actually enjoy the TV more than he does, because he's too busy, got no time to watch TV. Always worried, oh, this is going to happen. These 500 servants, they have nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. They're bindas. They're very happy. They eat, sleep, and be merry. They have to do a little service here and there for him. But other than that, they're having a great time. Their children's education is taken care of. Their health is taken care of. And Mukesh Ambani is worry, 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 worry. So Mukesh Ambani is only taking care of little bit in India, although he's known as very rich man. But Krishna is taking care of everything, right? So how much worry, 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 worry is on Krishna's head? And we want to think, no, I want to become God. We can't even take care of our own body. We can't take care of our own body. It says that in the same verses we read. You can't take care of our body, can't take care of our mind, can't take care of our intelligence, can't take care of anybody else, and we want to be God. This is all nonsense. This is all nonsense. Actually, let Krishna be God. It's good. He takes responsibility. We just enjoy serving him nicely. Just serve him nicely. And for little service, he gives so much pleasure. So much pleasure. We have all seen. Do a little bit of service, we feel so much happiness. This is much smarter. That's why until you meet a devotee, you may think you're God and you might enjoy that. When you become devotee, the devotee will tell you, no, the smarter thing to do is to become devotee. Because if you become devotee, you become even happier than God. That is why the Lord becomes Gauranga. He wants to enjoy the sweetness of the love of Radharani, which is the love of the devotees. She is the greatest of all devotees. Therefore, she is called Radha. He wants to enjoy that. He knows that enjoyment is greater. He wants to become servant. He becomes the servant of Arjuna. He enjoys that. Krishna is not doing it because it was his duty. He did not do it because he had to. He did it because he wanted to enjoy it. So this is these 4 verses in essence. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop here. Because my nature is I can keep talking and not stop. So I need to stop looking at the time. We have 15 more minutes or 16 minutes. If you would like to say something, or ask any question, or give us any realization, I'll be very happy to hear. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for enlivening us. I mean, we like you that keep going. Before we go to question and answer session, I would like you to introduce our team members.
Nice, please.
Priya Padma Mataji, are you there? She is our main admin.
Nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for coming, Prabhuji. And we are so
Thank you.
fortunate we can hear about your divine mouth. A very nice lecture you give. So we request you, Prabhuji, please timely come and engage in, to increase our Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji.
Thank you. It will be my honor. Thank you very much. You're all very humble. You all know much more than I do. I can only say what I've heard and just repeat and leave it at that. That's it.
No, Prabhuji. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Next, we have is Aradhana Devi Dasi. Am I the
Hare Krishna.
Grandpa Abdul Mataji, disciple of Jayapataka Swami? He is Holiness Jayapataka Swami. And
Nice.
who is Aradhana Devi Dasi? He is the disciple of Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj.
Nice. Very nice.
And Amit Prabhu, he is husband of Priya Padma Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Amit Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Danvats.
So now I will request Anuradha Mataji, please take the question and answer session from the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a very, very beautiful and enlightening class.
Thank you.
Barsana Rani Mataji, you can unmute yourself.
Before she comes on, can I ask where you all are? Are you all in the US?
Yes, we are in Houston, most of us.
Acha,
Adna
nice.
Mataji is in Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. Okay, nice.
Yeah,
The
rest of
Detroit,
us.
yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the Detroit Radharani and the Dallas Radharani was switched actually. So we have
Yes,
a
Prabhuji.
very nice relationship with Detroit.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Nice, very good. Barshana Rani Mataji, please ask.
We have some senior Vaishnavas today because of their service, they could not join. We have
Okay,
Nanda Prabhu from Baltimore,
nice.
senior devotees, and also we have Nanda Kumara Prabhu from Cincinnati.
Wonderful.
Here, but I don't know, he may have left.
He's here, I think. I see Nanda Kumar Prabhu there.
Yeah, Nanda Kumara Prabhu is here.
And I also see Bhakti Bhava Mataji from Gujarat.
Or one of the volunteers helping us, Radha Govinda Mataji, she is from India.
Radha Govinda Mataji is there, yes.
Yeah.
There's iPhone Kamal, it says. I think the
I
name
don't
might
know
be
who
Kamal.
that is. But the few members that I can see, I mean, some reason some people didn't show up today.
Okay. There's Tirth Prabhu and also Arjun Sen Thakur.
Yeah, Bhakti Bhav Mataji here is also disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj.
Nice. There's also Ramachandra Prabhu and then Ritu Saxena,
Arjun
Mataji,
Thakur Prabhu.
Kanta
is-
Devi, and then there's Revati. Is it Revati?
Yeah.
No, Revati Devi Dashi, yes. And
Yes.
then Minu and then Madhu.
Yeah,
Yeah, these are some of the other names there. Thank you very much. Please.
you're welcome. So, Prabhuji, very
Hare
nice
Krishna, Prabhuji.
enlightening us
Hare
on
Krishna.
Srimad
Hare
Bhagavad
Krishna.
class today. So, who is there?
Barsana Rani Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. It's a very wonderful class you have given and so much enlighten us about some Bhagavad Gita verses and all that. And it's very nice to hear that you said Krishna don't have to do that. And Krishna, it's not his duty, but Krishna is enjoying to doing that as
Yes.
a menial service, as a servant, you know.
Yes.
So that's very wonderful to hear that. And also you explain Save Pumsa Paro Dharmo. That's a first answer for the question which is sages are asking to Sutta Goswami.
Yes.
And that's so it says Paro Dharmo means what is actually in that verse is meaning for the Paro Dharmo. Can you explain that a little bit, Prabhuji?
Yes. So dharma means what is our duty? What is our duty? What is the compelling purpose of our life is called our dharma, like that. And paradharma means that dharma which is the highest of all dharma. The highest dharma is paradharma. It's beyond material dharma. It is beyond material. Just like we say paranormal, right? Paranormal means it's not normal. It's very unusual, something mystical that's beyond the normal, right? Like say, for example, UFO. UFO comes and it stays in one place and suddenly it moves like many, many miles all in 1 second, one moment like that. So it acts in a way that is very abnormal. So it's paranormal. Paranormal means cannot be explained by material science like that. So paradharma means dharma that is beyond material science. This is now relating to spiritual and transcendental science. Spiritual science deals with the soul, the science of self-realization. Transcendental science deals with Krishna, deals with the origin of the soul, which is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, like that. That's transcendental science. So paradharma means that which is spiritual and transcendental dharma. And spiritual and transcendental dharma is eternal, whereas material dharma is temporary. So that which is temporary is not real, meaning that it is temporary. So it is like, it looks real, but then after a while it goes away. It's like something that is like Maya Danav, looks like somebody is there, then suddenly nobody is there, like that. So it gives a temporary appearance of reality. Example is, when in the dark we see a rope and we think it is a snake. Now, rope is real, snake is real, but that rope is not snake. That is the illusion. So illusory truth leads to material dharma. And material dharma allows us to come to mode of goodness. Mode of goodness allows us to come to mode of pure goodness. And pure goodness, we will have paradharma. Now we come to paradharma. So every activity that we do, anything that we do in Krishna consciousness is meant to be in Shuddha Sattva, not Sattva, Rajas, and Tama. Sattva, Rajas, and Tama are material. They are the material modes. They will confuse us. They will do things like that. But the good thing about Sattva is that it will allow us to use it as a stepping stone to get to Shuddha Sattva. So this is the value of Sattva, Sattva. Other than that, Rajagun and Tamagun are really of no value except if we use them in a way that promotes Krishna consciousness, then it works. But very hard to use them. Very exceptionally, you can use Rajagun in Lord service. Tamagun, though, you can never use in Lord service, pretty much never, except you can avoid it. You can learn from it to avoid it. And that way you can use it like that. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Very, very much, very good answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Amit Prabhu, can you unmute yourself?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful class with the examples. Prabhuji, I have a couple of questions. First one is that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself said that I am in everybody's heart.
Yes.
Then how can a person be so cruel that he can even murder the other persons? So
Right.
I need to understand that contradiction part.
Yeah.
That
So
what
basically-
motivates him?
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. It's a very, very good question. So basically, when Krishna says is seated in the heart, Krishna is actually the person who is fulfilling the desire of the living entity. Man proposes and God disposes. Disposes doesn't mean that he does it, doesn't mean that he wants it to happen, but he creates a playing field where you can play that game. You know, it's a little like he sets the rules of the game. And in the rules of the game, there are also penalties, right?
Right.
In any game, there is also penalties. If you do the wrong thing, you get a penalty, right?
Yeah.
So when the living entity chooses to do the wrong thing, now why would the living entity be given the right to choose? The answer is, for love to exist, there must be free will. Free will means there should be three things you are able to do. You can do the right thing, you can do the wrong thing, or you can sit in the middle and decide, should I do the right thing or the wrong thing? These are your three choices in free will. So if there was no choice to do the wrong thing, then there is no free will, in which case there is no love. Because love without free will is not love. You cannot force in love. It has to be by free will. So in the free will, when you are doing cruelty, you are going to suffer that cruelty. Now, the person to whom you're doing the cruelty, it is not happening to the soul, it is happening to the body and the entire mind of that person. Say, for example, if I kill somebody and I murder somebody, I am harming that person's body and mind, but I'm not harming that person's soul. The soul cannot be harmed like that. The soul is always protected by Krishna. Now, why would Krishna allow me to harm his mind and body? It's probably because in the last life, he harmed my mind and body. So now in this life, I have a right to harm his mind and body. So this law of karma is very intricate. It's very confusing. When you don't see the whole picture, it's very confusing. If you just see one life picture, you won't understand it because there are other things happen in previous lives that are also causing what's happening in this life. Unless you have the full picture of what happened in the past, it is not possible to understand why the difficulty is happening now.
So it is basically some kind of revenge. Revenge we are means as per Krishna, we are taking from past birth to this birth.
Yes, if possible, that is one thing. Or if you're creating something new, it's going to come back to you. Just
Right.
like they say, if you eat an animal, if you eat animal flesh, then you will also be killed as the same animal as many times as there are hairs on the body of that animal, right?
Right.
I mean, that's crazy. We can see animals have a lot of hair on their body. Why would I want to be killed like, say if I eat a chicken, why would I want to be eaten like a chicken, become a chicken for as many lives as there are hairs on that chicken's body and then get killed so that I can be served in Kentucky Fried Chicken or wherever else they serve me? You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense. It's ignorance. And this is why, as Hare Krishnas, our first purpose is to preach so that people understand Why are we going to this ignorance? This ignorance is bad for us. This ignorance is very harmful. That is not Krishna's fault. Krishna has given us a game to play. If he does not give us that game to play, there is no free will. If there's no free will, there will be no love. And unless we love Krishna, we will not come to the highest point of happiness.
So, Prabhuji, on that part only, like when we come to Krishna consciousness, we always heard that what we have to face the consequences as per our past karmas.
Yes.
Means previous birth karmas.
Yes.
But since birth, we hearing that thing that whatever we are doing bad in this life, we have to face the consequences in the same life. So
Yes.
there are two different opinions or different we can say opinions about this thing. So which one is correct?
It is correct that there are different types of karma. There are some types of karma that are in seed form. So if the karma is in seed form, then you have to wait till it grows into a tree and then has the blossoms, flowers, and fruits. Now, life is not seen as only within one body. Life is seen as going past number of bodies, right? Just like in our life right now, let's just say, how old are you now? If you don't mind.
I'm 40 plus.
Okay, 40 plus. Okay, so basically your body is already changed 5 times because no cell in the body lasts more than 7 years. So in the 35th year, you finished your 5th cycle of your body. 5 bodies you've already been past. The soul remains, the body is changing, right?
Okay.
But the karma may be so powerful that it's going to go through a number of bodies before it becomes, the fruit comes and you will actually get the fruit. You see what I'm saying? So that is why karma can come from many previous lives as well, depending on how deep that karma was, how big that karma was. If you did a karma that is like a banyan tree, then the banyan tree goes for miles and miles and miles and miles, right?
Right.
So that karma is going to create problems for you life after life. Just like I said, if you kill a chicken might have, say, 10,000 hairs on her body, right? So for 10,000 lifetimes, you have to become a chicken and be killed. You can see the karma, based on which karma, what results you are getting, right?
Right.
So in that sense, yes, karma comes through previous lives and also in this life. But the idea is, finish it in this life. Let's finish it in this life. And how do you finish it in this life? By becoming Krishna conscious, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Because what happens then is that Krishna takes over that karma and through the agency of the spiritual master, takes away all that karma and tells us, please don't do it again. Please don't eat any more meat, fish, and eggs. Please do not drink any more liquor. Please don't do any more gambling. Please don't chase, women, men, dogs, cats, and everything else that people chase. Don't do these things, Give it up. Now just chant Hare Krishna, be a nice devotee, and at the end of life, you get Goloka. You can go back to. If you don't go to Goloka, don't worry. You'll go to that planet where Krishna is performing his pastime, which is just as good as Goloka. There you'll be fully trained. And then, like you call it, Texas 2-step, right? 2 steps. Okay, first to Vrindavan, where we get trained, and then from there to Goloka.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, thank you. It's a very good
Thank
question.
you, Abhay Prabhu. Thank you, Nityananda Prabhu. Bhakti Bhava Mataji.
Yes.
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu, pranams
Krishna.
to you. Thank you for recognizing me.
Thank you.
It was very nice class.
Thank you.
I missed you. I came there only one time when Guru Maharaj was there because I had to come to India. Right now I'm in India.
Nice.
I'll come back there in August.
Which part of Gujarat you're in? Which part of Gujarat are you in?
We are like right where the cyclone is coming.
What is that? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we are in Kutch Mandvi. We are in Mandvi. Yeah, so we are listening to news and everything. The cyclone is going to come on the 15th. Whatever Krishna is planning to do.
Srinavarta's family members are coming to visit you.
Yeah. My question, Prabhu, was when I am preaching and I have people that eat meat and fish and all that, they are in ignorance. How can I talk to them in such a way that I can convince them? Convince them to so that they can come into the mood of goodness.
Nice.
That was my question. So
Very good question. Very good
sometimes I have problems to, say it because I don't want to offend them. I don't want
Right.
them to feel like, I'm ruling them or something like that. So.
Right. Well, the first thing that we do is that we ourselves first become convinced. If we're not convinced, we cannot convince anybody else. You can only give what you have. If you want to lend money to somebody else, you have to have the money yourself, right? Can't be a money lender if you yourself are a beggar, like that doesn't work. So the idea is, the first thing is that we go deep into our Krishna consciousness by chanting nicely, reading nicely, following nicely, becoming humble, like that, and go as deep as possible ourselves. That's the first thing. Second thing is to befriend the person. Don't worry about Krishna consciousness. Krishna will give the Krishna consciousness. We are not givers of Krishna consciousness. We are people who are connectors. We are connecting, you see what I'm saying? So if we touch, then Krishna's Krishna consciousness comes through us and reaches that person. You see what I'm saying? So befriend the person, because they are suffering in life also, right? They're having difficulties in life. So they want things that will be more roti kapda makan issues, like that. They're more concerned about those things than they're concerned about higher stages of consciousness. So lower stages of consciousness have to be taken care of first. If we do that, so for that we have prasadam, we have three things: chanting, feasting, and dancing. Chanting, feasting, and dancing are the best ways to introduce Krishna consciousness to anybody. Bring them to a program, let them chant with us, sing with us, dance with us, and feast with us. You see what I'm saying? And then we befriend them, right? And as we befriend them, they open their heart. And then we speak the truth. Whatever truth we speak will have an effect on them based on how strong their heart is. If their heart is steel-framed, then it'll take a little longer time to convince them. If their heart is soft, then they will very quickly understand the message. You see? Now, I'm going to tell you a story here. This is a very important story to understand. There was once a spiritual master, and he told his disciple, the most important thing you can do is book distribution. So please go out on the street and distribute books. So the disciple would go out day after day after day and distribute books. But for some reason, he was not happy, disciple. So one day he came and told his spiritual master, Guru Maharaj, you tell me to go and distribute books. I try to distribute books to people, but they tell me, why don't you get a real job? Why are you standing on the street and distributing books? You got nothing better to do? Get education, get a real job, you'll be happy. Why are you stopping us doing things that we are wanting to do in our life? So he said, I don't like it that people say bad things like that to me, and it discourages me, you know what I'm saying? So spiritual master said, do you want to be the best book distributor? He said, yes. He said, okay, come, I'll show you how to do that. So he takes him into the forest, and he takes a hammer with him, and he goes to the forest. And in the forest, there's this big rock, 300-foot rock, huge rock. So he gives him the hammer and says, I want you to hit this rock and crack it. So the boy takes the hammer, and he was full mighty, hits the rock, and his hand reverberates with a steel hammer, you see? So his hand ricochets back and starts shaking, And he looks at the rock, and there's not even a mark on that rock. He can't even tell where he hit the rock. There's no mark there. So he looks at his spiritual master and thinks, what? How is this teaching me anything? Spiritual master said, no. You keep hitting the rock until it cracks. Don't come back home. No prasadam for you. You keep hitting that rock until it cracks. When it cracks, I want you to come back and tell me you cracked the rock, and I want you to tell me how many times it took for you to crack that rock. So the boy thought, okay, then he started counting. 2, 3, 4, he kept hitting the rock. When he hit it the 300th time, he saw a fine crack on the surface. And he knew he had cracked the rock. So he ran back to his Guru Maharaj. He said, Guru Maharaj, I cracked it. I cracked the rock. So Guru Maharaj said, and so how many times did it take you to crack the rock? He said, 300 times. Guru Maharaj said, no, wrong answer. So he said, 299. He said, no, wrong answer. 301, wrong answer. He said, it was definitely somewhere between 290 and 310. He said, wrong answer. He said, between 250 and 350? He said, no, it can't be worse than that. He said, I didn't count that badly. I know I did count, and it was 300. So why is the answer wrong? How do you know the answer? He says to the Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj said, that's why I am your spiritual master. I know the answer. That's why I'm your spiritual master.
Thank you so much.
So he says, so Guru Maharaj, what is the right answer? He says, the right answer is the first time you hit the rock. And he said, no, I showed you. There wasn't even a mark on that rock at that time. He said, no, when you hit that rock, the crack started in the heart of the rock. And every time you were hitting it, the crack was traveling to the surface. You only saw the crack when it came to the surface. But the crack had already started the first time you hit it in the heart. Similarly, when you speak the supreme absolute truth, you're going to crack the heart of that person in the center. But it won't show, depending on how big that rock is, how hard the heart is. Steel frame heart takes longer time. Soft heart, less time for the crack to travel to the surface. You see what I'm saying? So always we should be fully encouraged and enthusiastic that if we speak the supreme absolute truth, the first time you said it, it works. It's just you have to keep repeating until it shows on the surface. Then that person also recognizes it. And suddenly they think, oh yes, I think I also want to be Hare Krishna. I also want to be Krishna conscious. Then they recognize it, and we also recognize it. But the very first time you speak the truth, it works. You should know you're not failing, you're succeeding big time. Just speak the truth, that's all.
Thank you.
What is the truth? One time, Prabhupada had very big crowd in front of him, and his disciples were there with dandas in their hands, sannyasis. So he asked this little girl to stand up. Her name was Saraswati. He said, Saraswati, who is Krishna? Saraswati said, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Prabhupada said, she is the best preacher. She's repeating the truth. That is the best preacher.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're repeating the truth. Your name is Bhakti Bhav. So you're giving a lot of bhav, bhakti to people.
Yeah,
So that is great.
I am, but sometimes, you don't know how that person is going to take it. So
That's okay.
sometimes
That's
I
okay. You don't
hesitate.
worry. You leave that to Krishna. You say to Krishna, that's your business, Krishna. That's not my business. My business is I have to tell Krishna consciousness. Sorry. I'm like parrot, Parrot just repeats, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm like parrot. And Krishna's best devotees are Shuka and Sari, right? Shuka is Radharani's parrot,
Right.
and Sari is Krishna's parrot. So you can see, right? They're amazing. They're devotees.
I'll remember that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Amit Prabhu has another question. Can you unmute yourself, Prabhu?
Amit Prabhu, unmute yourself. You're still muted. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one more question. When we are talking about either we have to be purely in the devotional service or in the purely in materialistic nature world. So in today's scenario, where we are in like half-cooked person, like you said that dhobi ka kutta. So you're right that we are all dhobi ka kutta as of now. So how do we can be on one side in the today's scenario?
By following person who is on the other side. Prabhupada said you can be pure in two ways. Either you are pure yourself, which is very hard to do, or you are following somebody who is pure. Prabhupada was pure. So if you're following Prabhupada, then you are considered pure as well. You see what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time. It's like when a person goes into the shower, we can't complain, why are you dirty? Because he's taking shower right now, right?
Right.
So after the shower, you can complain, he's dirty or not dirty. But until the shower is over, you cannot say, why are you dirty? So in the same way, we should be in the shower. Keep ourselves in the shower. That's the idea. Keep yourself in Krishna consciousness. Don't pull yourself out. Stay in sadhu sangha. And combinedly, each of us has a certain amount of purity, and we can rub that purity off on each other. And then we are following supreme pure person like Prabhupada and our Guru Maharajas, and then we will also become pure.
And also we can keep...
Normally, you can only become pure at the end when you die, because if you become pure before that, you might become proud, and then you go back into the, like mad elephant, you go back again and become dirty again, see? So sometimes he lets us wait until we die to give us purity, like that.
Or we can say that we can keep Krishna in every center of everything, so that it is one of the way also.
Very good answer. Everything we do should be for Krishna's service. If we are sleeping, we say to Krishna, I'm sleeping, Krishna, for your pleasure. I'm going to the bathroom, I'm passing urine, I'm passing for your pleasure. I'm brushing my teeth, I'm for your pleasure. I am doing the wrong thing, I'm doing it for your pleasure. Keep saying for his pleasure. If you keep saying it is for his pleasure, sooner or later everything will become purified. Then you'll do the right things. You'll stop doing the wrong things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Krishna will give you guidance from inside.
Right. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Prabhuji.
A wonderful question.
Mihika, can you unmute yourself?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the awesome class that you gave, Prabhuji. So,
Thank
Prabhu,
you.
I have a slightly related question. So, like how you said that we get an inner voice, and that will lead us to
Yes.
to doing the right thing. So,
Yes.
Prabhuji, whenever it's time to take some decisions, it's like we get two voices from inside telling us what to do. One
Right.
is our mind, and the other one's probably Krishna. So then which one do we know which one is the one that Krishna is giving us? Like, how do we decide which one's good and which one's bad between both of them?
Okay. So first thing is, if your mind is telling you, that means the mind, that you are not your mind. Just like we say, ahankar, right? I'm not the car. Like that. So my mind is my mind, but it is not me. Whereas the Atma is you, right? So the question is the message coming from Paramatma, or is it coming from the mind or the intelligence or the false ego? These are all we identify with, but we are not those things, right? So how do you know which one is coming from which side? Who is the one who's telling? So the answer is, it takes a little time to understand that, but keep praying to Krishna. Krishna, you please tell me. Don't let my mind tell me. Don't let my intelligence tell me. Don't let my false ego speak. Tell these boys, time out now, please. You've told me for millions of lives in the past, and I have never gone back to Godhead, which means I failed. So, you had me for many times. Now I want to listen to Krishna. You see what I'm saying? So you keep saying that to Krishna, and what Krishna will do is give you intuition. The intuition to understand that it is his voice and not the other voice. Now, how do you know? From the result? The result you know from two ways. One is, if it is Krishna's voice that is coming through, you will feel great satisfaction internally, and that satisfaction will last. It will not be temporary satisfaction. It will make you feel good for a very long period of time. In fact, it won't stop. You'll feel like, if I can just repeat that over and over again, that'll be great. You see what I'm saying? And secondly, you will get confirmation. You will get confirmation from others who are your well-wishers, who are devotees who are your well-wishers. They'll also confirm that, this is coming from Krishna, this is not coming from your mind. You see what I'm saying? So what we do is, by Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra, we understand what is coming from Krishna. So Guru means those people around us who are giving us guidance, who are our well-wishers. Sadhu are those who are thoroughly honest people. A thoroughly honest person is called sadhu, like that. And Sastra means, what does scripture say? So when these three line up, you should know Krishna is saying. So whatever you hear, try to align it and see, what is it aligning more with? Is it aligning more with Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra, or is it aligning more with Maya? Maya means that which actually gives you temporary material happiness, but ends up causing misery. So initially it looks right, and then it turns very sour. You see what I'm saying? So if you keep working on it, then your intuition will rise to the extent that now you'll be able to understand, okay, this is actually, I'm hearing this from Paramatma. This is not coming from my mind. And when it is coming from the mind, of course, once the mind becomes Krishna conscious, then the mind will also tell us the right thing. Don't worry. That is why we want the mind to become Krishna conscious, Bhajahure mana, Srinandanandana, Abhaya Charana Arvindare. So we want our mind to also become Krishna. So we tell the mind, look, you are suffering also in this world. I'm suffering, you're suffering, intelligence suffering, false ego is definitely suffering. Why don't we all sit down and do kirtan together? And then when you're chanting, tell your mind, chant with me. Tell your intelligence, chant with me. Tell your false ego, chant with me. All the cells in my body, chant with me. There are billions of cells. All of them have a soul, by the way. Each cell has its own soul. So there are billions of souls inside your body right now. Can we all get together and do kirtan? Yes. When you chant, tell them all, we're all chanting together now, okay? Every one of us, stop doing what you're doing. Just chant with me. All chant. Let's all chant. This is now big Sankirtan going on, right? Billions of people chanting together. Wow, that is Sankirtan. You're doing Sankirtan. You're getting 1,000 times the benefit, 10,000 times the benefit. And you're benefiting every cell. By the way, every cell in your body is, at some point in time, every cell is dying. Some cell is dying, some cell is getting born. So the cell that is dying, if you're chanting Hare Krishna, that cell is dying chanting Hare Krishna, right? Can you imagine the benefit if that cell dies chanting Hare Krishna? That cell gets a human life, next life, liberated, and goes back to God. You help that cell. That was not you. That was your cell that was given to you so that you can become Krishna conscious. So you can think, right? This is Krishna's arrangement is so wonderful, so beautiful. Just leave it to Krishna. Talk to Krishna all the time. This is my biggest complaint I have with our devotees. They do not talk to Krishna. They talk to each other and they talk to their mind and they get all confused. Talk to Krishna. Prabhupada said, Gaur-Nitai are the good luck deities. Always talk to Gaur-Nitai. My dear Gaur-Nitai, say whatever you want to say. They will take after you fully. Or Krishna Balram. Krishna Balram also known as good luck deities. My dear sirs, and then ask whatever you want to ask. My dear sirs, should I make a left turn here or make a right turn here? Keep talking like that. You will see they will talk back. And when they talk back, after that, you have nothing to worry about. You got the best guides in the planet. Nothing to worry about. Keep talking. We all like to talk a lot, right? That's why we have these things here, you know. They make billions of dollars with this thing because people like to talk. So talk, but talk to Krishna. Don't talk to some nonsense person. Talk to Krishna. That's going to be very valuable. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for that very intelligent question. You're obviously a very smart person. Thank you.
Thank you, Megha. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, in line to the first answer that you gave, Barsamna Rani Mataji, I just have a follow-up question for my understanding.
Sure.
You mentioned mode of goodness allows us to come to platform of pure goodness.
Yes.
How do we know that we have reached the platform of pure goodness? And pure goodness is beyond the three modes, correct?
Yes.
So how do we know we have reached there, and how can we aim to get there?
Okay, very good, very good. So first thing is, if you want to get to the mode of pure goodness, we have to give up the enjoying mentality. Stop thinking that I have to enjoy, you know. Okay, I must have some prasadam because it will taste nice. I will relish it and this, that, and that. Don't give up that idea of enjoying everything. Start understanding it is Krishna's enjoyment that is important, and we can reflect that enjoyment and be truly happy. The reflection of Krishna is real. The non-reflection of Krishna is unreal. Krishna says that in Srimad Bhagavatam, you know. So basically the idea is always do everything for Krishna's pleasure. And if you keep saying that, oh Krishna, I'm doing for your pleasure, for your pleasure, for your pleasure, then Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam. He says, I will give intelligence internally so that you will understand that you are doing for my pleasure and not for your separate pleasure. Our pleasure is Krishna's pleasure. We only want to give Krishna pleasure. So pure goodness is the platform on which we're doing everything for Krishna's pleasure, exclusively for Krishna's pleasure. In the other platforms, we are either doing it exclusively for my pleasure or mixed pleasure. Mode of goodness, little mixed pleasure. You see what I'm saying? Ignorance and passion is my pleasure. Pure goodness is Krishna's pleasure. So if you keep telling yourself, I only want to do for Krishna's pleasure, and you keep telling Krishna, Krishna, please help me. You please help me. You are very smart. You know how to make this happen. I don't know how to make this happen, but you do. So you please guide me, and then I will do. And then you will see that others will come into your life who will also guide you, because they themselves are doing that all the time. The advantage of a senior devotee is that the senior devotee has practiced this over and over and over and over again and gained the understanding that I should only do everything for Krishna's pleasure and no other purpose. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
So
then you
Prabhuji,
get pure goodness.
when we have devotees come over, or when we are trying to serve the devotees, we think, right, that time Krishna is not on our mind. We are thinking that we have to serve the devotees nicely. So then again, that is a mixed...
No, because the devotee is representing Krishna, right? Krishna says, one who thinks he is my devotee is not my devotee, but one who thinks that he is the devotee of my devotee is the real devotee. We are dasa and dasa, right? We are the servant of the servant of the servant. So basically, when you're serving devotee, you are serving Krishna, because the devotee is representing Krishna, right? Now, if the devotee is not representing Krishna, that's a different story. Then still okay. At least you are serving for the right reasons. But basically, the idea is that devotee should never take service from another devotee unless it is for Krishna. Only for Krishna one should take service. Otherwise, one should never take service from somebody else.
Okay.
So then you have to repay it. And if you don't repay it in this life, you have to repay it in the next life with interest. And with interest means 1,000 times. So if you took $1, you have to give $1,000 next life. It's going to be very expensive. Better not take in this life.
Yes.
You don't have to repay next life. And then you have to come back again, right? And next time you may not be a devotee. Then what? Now you're going to be in big trouble, right? So it can happen.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Wonderful
Prabhuji.
question.
This was very helpful.
Thank you.
And the entire session today was very informative, very helpful, and very uplifting, I would say.
Thank you.
It was my first time personally hearing you.
Right.
So we just request on behalf of Partsarthi Foundation, please keep coming and enlightening us, sharing this knowledge with us so we can constantly remember Krishna and we can constantly think that what we are doing is for his pleasure and not for our pleasure.
Right. The principle is always follow the Guru Maharaj, follow your spiritual master. Spiritual master is the principle. If you follow the spiritual master, then through the disciple, the spiritual master speaks. You see what I'm saying? It's not that I have this knowledge, and it's just I allow myself to be the transparent via media through which I can pass the knowledge that I receive from my spiritual master, who received it from his spiritual master. And spiritual master is more than the Diksha Guru, there are Siksha Gurus also. So we listen to the Acharya and Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Beach, right? Like that. So we try to be the transparent via media. Any credit I get is not my credit. It is the credit of those who have actually instructed me and guided me. Otherwise, I know what type of nonsense I was doing in my life. And if I had continued doing that, they would have had to create a special hell for me. I know that. So I was saved by my spiritual master and by the devotees. They saved me. They sent down that, lifeline and held me and pulled me out of the ocean, pulling me out of the ocean. I'm still in the ocean, but at least I'm holding on to the rope. I don't want to let go of the rope. If I let go of the rope, then I'm in trouble. So we should all just hang on to the rope, that our spiritual master has given us.
I really like the point you mentioned, when you become devotee, you become happier than the Lord. That really touched me. Thank you very much for sharing that.
By the way, did you know Prabhupada, only one question he would ask everybody: are you happy? That's only, he never asked them, are you chanting 16 rounds? Are you following 4 elite principles? Are you doing deity worship? Did you wake up for Mangalarti? Never asked that. His only question, are you happy? And when they say they're not happy, you know what he used to say to them? He said, that means you're not devotee. Because if you are devotee, you have Krishna with you. Why are you not happy?
Yes.
If you have Krishna, what else you need? You have everything, right?
Yes.
Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is everything. So if you have Krishna, why are you unhappy? That is his question. So Prabhupada was, grab Krishna now. Hold on to Krishna and don't let go. That is the real trick. And our association is for that purpose, so that we will all jointly hold on, If one of us letting go, the other one will hold the hand and help that, no, don't go. Let's stay together. We're all in this together. We're all going to chant, feast, and dance our way back to God, like that.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing your wisdom. It was a
Thank
nice question and answer session today.
Thank you.
And we hope that you keep coming to our Partsarthi Foundation so
Yes.
our devotee can get benefit
Right.
of your knowledge that
Thank
you
you
have.
for setting up such a wonderful foundation. What a nice name, Partsarthi. Krishna, the servant of Partha. Wonderful name. What a wonderful name. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Aradhana Mataji, we probably close the call here at this point.
Yes. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
His Grace Nityanand Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, once again for
Thank you.
accepting our
Thank you.
invitation and coming to the evening. We look
Thank you.
forward to seeing you and hearing more from you.
Yes, and
Hare
thank you for
Krishna.
allowing me to serve you all. Wonderful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari Hari Bol. Hare
No,
Krishna.
thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare